East J. I'm James Floyd, Principal Chief of Muskogee Creek Nation, and I wanted to take some time this morning and talk about the third quarter report of the Muskogee Creek Nation. It's a report that we're required to submit to the National Council each year and each quarter. And so we did so this past Saturday at the National Council meeting. But I wanted to take some time because I think on Saturday we kind of hit some of the broad topics of our performance, and I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with some things and to present that to you. I'd first like to start by letting you know where the third quarter report could be found so that you can view that yourself. We do post it to our website, which is www.mcn-nsn.gov. And should you not be able to find that, feel free to call our office at 918-756-8700. Ask for the Office of Public Relations, and they can help guide you to that report. You can look at it online. We do provide hard copies to the National Council and to the members of the executive branch. There's several things that I could probably talk for hours about, but I wanted to speak specifically in 4 areas because I think that is important to us as citizens of how the health of the nation is. And of course, first of all, is kind of the finance and revenue section. And so I am first of all pleased to report that our gaming revenue continues to increase. And in this quarter, we collected over $64 million in gaming revenue. Also that our permanent fund increased a great deal this third quarter as well. Our total as of the end of June was $918,419, and that's more than a $13 million increase than the second quarter, almost $14 million. And so I think it shows that hopefully, first of all, that we're transparent with these numbers, but also shows that we have a continued steady growth in income in the permanent fund. We've not taken any money out of the permanent fund. I don't want to. I want to keep that money there because it funds a lot of the programs for our citizens within the Creek Nation boundaries and outside of the Creek Nation boundaries. So it's very key that we continue to grow that fund. We have an investment board that reviews the investments that we use the permanent fund for so that it can grow. And so I think those folks are being very diligent in making sure that our investments are sound and secure and safe so that our money continues to grow, that it isn't threatened, and that I can continue to report that it is doing well. We also did well in tax revenue during the third period with collections of $2,433,000. And again, that's an important factor because it shows that we are exercising our sovereignty and our ability to collect taxes. And that money coming back into the Treasury can be used for programs, again, to our citizens. I think we also need to look, in addition to our collections, at some of the things that we're doing to cut down the expense of the government so that we can report to you that we're doing the best to be stewards of the money that we have. A success I'd like to highlight in this report is that during the last 14 to 18 months, we've been making a conversion from the traditional phone lines to voice over internet phone service. What that does in terms of making things more productive and less costly is that we only have to run a line. Everything is computer-based as opposed to having a secondary landline, so to speak. Our changes with the company AT&T that we use, in just 3 locations during this quarter, we saved more than $20,000 by these conversions in 3 of our outpatient clinics. That alone would translate to more than $240,000 a year that we would expect in the coming 12 months. our plans are in the fourth quarter and in the first quarter of the next fiscal year to expand voice over internet protocol for the entire administrative offices of the tribe. And so we will see additional savings as we make that conversion. As a matter of fact, the savings will help pay for the cost of that conversion, so we don't have to have a special appropriation or anything. We work through that, and our money that we save gets put back to use for further savings in the future. And so our folks in information technology are doing a great job in making that conversion. And so as citizens, what you will be seeing is more features in terms of how to connect with the employees of the nation. And the phones, they don't have to be at a desk to answer the phone. And so it should make your job easier in contacting us and us being more responsive quicker. So I'm pleased to report that today. The next topic that I'd like to talk about is our healthcare department. Again, we are very transformative there in making progress in working our way out of the deficit that we knew existed and we addressed last year, and we continue to address every day. I'm pleased to say that the progress of the construction of the Creek Nation Community Hospital is online, and so by the next quarter we'll have information that should show the dates of our actual opening, which will be very close to the end of the fourth quarter. And in the meantime, we hope you'll see some products we'll be putting out soon of media tours of the hospital. And so I think that's exciting news for all of us. Along with that comes the revenue that is gained from our healthcare system, and our third-party collections for the third quarter were $12,588,600, which is an increase of $591,000 over the second quarter. So again, it shows that our folks are doing a great job of making sure that we identify third-party billing sources that we do bill and we are collecting. That's crucial in building back a reserve to help fund some of the capital costs of our healthcare and for further renovations and construction that we will need in the future. And so I want to give thanks to the folks in the health department and all the good things that they're doing, and to improve the quality of care, the timeliness of care, and to make sure that we have a sound healthcare department with its finances. The third thing that I'd like to talk about is education progress that we are making. The Education and Training Department interacts with a lot of high school, junior high students, and those who are in college presently. And combined at the present time, we probably have more than 3,000 cases, both in the higher education scholarships and employment and training program. And I think that's key. We are the fourth largest tribe in the United States, but knowing that we have more than 3,000 students that we are assisting that are going on and furthering their education and training, I think is significant, because that's the next generation of leaders, and the more that we can invest in their future, the better. And that number continues to grow. And so we're pleased to report that in the third quarter we made some significant achievements. One part of that, I think, that may not be directly tied to dollars, but is a significant subject in the state of Oklahoma, is a law called the Every Student Succeeds Act. And in April, we hosted a meeting at the River Spirit Conference Center in Tulsa, and in attendance, excuse me, we had more than 500 people attend, and they represented over 120 public schools in the state of Oklahoma. Within the Creek Nation boundaries, we have 67 public school districts, so we've reached way beyond Muskogee Creek Nation. That attendance was the first time that number of educators and administrators had gathered and participated with the tribe in jointly determining the culture and history subjects that will be taught in the public schools within the Creek Nation. And so, I'm pleased to report that during this last quarter, following that meeting, we had consultations with every school district within the Muskogee Creek Nation and have agreements of what will be taught in terms of history and culture within the Muskogee Creek Nation, which would represent our view and the true view of our culture and our history. And so not only has that gathered or gained in attention statewide, but nationally, our Secretary of Education was asked to speak at the National Indian Education Association meeting in Texas recently, and our program was highlighted as the example of how to implement the law, Every Student Succeeds, and how to do so in collaboration with school districts. And I think that we will be doing that again at other meetings, because our folks found out the right way to do it, a way that we could collaborate, strengthen relationships with public schools, and to make sure that our culture, our language are honored and respected in the public school system. And so I want to give a big thanks to our education department for that work that they did. And we will probably follow up with another meeting this fall just to make sure that we continue to do that. In the longer range, we have plans, since this is a national law, that we will take that into the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama and other states where we historically resided, so that in their school systems they also have Muskogee history being taught and being guided by the Muskogee Creek Nation. And so I think that's significant. We have established contacts in other states and are beginning to put together information that they can include and hopefully have some collaboration and consultation with those schools and those states. And so we're working on that. But I'm pleased to report that in addition just to the money that we give out as scholarships, we're rounding that out with other things that are helping the schools understand the significance of our history and our culture in teaching that to our students and to all students. I'd like to also report that in terms of our culture, we've been very busy this past quarter as well. Some significant achievements in that area is the opening of the Red Stick Gallery in Okmulgee. Although it's located in Okmulgee, it's really a worldwide shop, and it's an online store. We have a physical location as well. But it opened in June and already is a success, not only selling to people in the United States, but a number of other countries. And so we presently have works from at least 25 Muskogee artists, and we're always seeking others. There's a process that they can contact the Red Stick Gallery if they would like their works to be sold. We need to verify that they're, that they are Muskogee and they meet other requirements. But that's been a great success in allowing the works of our people to be sold and help support their artwork or their crafts that they have developed and get that out to the general public. In the Department of Commerce, I think another significant thing that has been accomplished by the nation has been the agreement that we entered into in the third quarter with a credit union. And what that allows for our citizens are a number of things. First of all, we partnered with the Tinker Federal Credit Union, a $4 billion credit union, the largest one in the state of Oklahoma. We're the first tribe that I'm aware of that has had such partnership. The part that I think is most important is that their membership has been opened to all citizens of the Muskogee Creek Nation, regardless of where they reside. And they could reside anywhere in the world and be eligible for membership in the Tinker Federal Credit Union. The Tinker Federal Credit Union, in turn, is reaching out to us and to our communities and has already started providing financial literacy courses and other financial management courses, retirement planning, estate planning, and other things that services that they provide. And it's a nonprofit group, and so it's not out to make money, but it does provide vital services to us, particularly with our youth. And so this summer with the Summer Youth Program, we had over 600 of our students participate in financial literacy. They were taught things that touched on how to establish a checking account, the importance of a savings account, and the perils of credit and credit card and payday lenders, and how to avoid those pitfalls so that they can have good credit and save money and manage their money, because it comes at a vulnerable time in their life, and we wanted to make sure that they had that education provided to them. So we had 2 opportunities this summer to do that. We do have a grant in place now that we will be rolling this out also with the dormitory students at the Eufaula Dormitory, and in conjunction with the Eufaula Public Schools, which we will invite them to participate, because we feel that that knowledge is very vital. We all know the importance of money, and so we want to make sure that they, at an early age, our children learn the responsibilities and how to best manage the resources, the money that they have. And so again, just wanted to invite all of you to go to the Tinker Federal Credit Union website, look at that, and if you have any questions, you can contact the Secretary of Commerce, Eli McIntosh, if you're not able to enroll online. But we invite you to enroll. They have some great plans in place so that you can increase, if you have savings, increase the percentage of return, and other tools that they have online. So please visit Tinker Federal Credit Union online, and as a Muskogee citizen, you can enroll, and they keep track of the membership. I don't this morning have the numbers of exactly how many people have signed up, but the number is growing, and I think at the 4th quarter we'll give them a fuller report of how this is beginning to magnify, but opening the access to more than 82,000 people into that credit union, which is the largest one in the state, really strengthens the credit union, but also provides to us, which I think is more important, the tools that we need and the opportunities that we can have in conjunction with them to learn more about financial management. Also, the cultural part of our tribe, I wanted to provide some information about the number of cases that we're working on that are referred to as Section 106, but they're the National Grave Protection Act, and it's really intended for us to be partners in determining and preserving and restoring, and in some cases reburying, the remains that are found throughout the 12 states of our historical boundaries. And just in the past quarter alone, we participated in more than 760 cases. And it's amazing the number that show up every week, even from Texas to Florida to North Carolina, where creeks had a presence and where there could be construction activity, development activity along highways, lakes, and other places in our home territory that affect the remains of our ancestors, the grounds of our ancestors, and we get to participate in that. We're fortunate that that number continues to grow, because although it is work for us, it is an opportunity for us to determine the future of what that land is going to be like in terms of total protection and secrecy, so that we preserve the remains of our ancestors. And so that group of people that work in our historic preservation, cultural preservation offices are doing an amazing job, and I want to thank them for what they're doing, and the volume does continue to increase. Another thing that I'd like to talk about this morning is with housing. And one part of it that I think that is emerging that is very helpful, and one where Muskogee Creek Nation is the leader in the state and probably in the nation with this specific program, is called the HUD-VASH program. It's a three-party partnership between the tribe or the nation, the Housing and Urban Development, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. What it provides for is to provide housing to homeless veterans. And so they can go through the tribe or they can go through the VA, but specifically through the Muskogee Creek Nation, we have vouchers that are granted to us through the VA. And then we look at tribal members who are veterans who may be homeless and assist them with counseling and ways that they can get into stable housing. And so I'm pleased to report that just within the last quarter, we've been able to house 14 homeless veterans in permanent housing. These are generally rental units, and where they take that voucher and apply it toward the rent of that apartment or home that meets certain qualifications. So not only were we able to place 14 veterans, but we have 6 more in progress. And so there's, I think, 4 other tribes in the United States that got that grant initially, and we're the leader. We've got more cases going than anybody else, and have even exceeded the record of some of the VA facilities when they first started this program. So a big thanks to the folks that are administering that program for us through the Department of Housing. I also want to report on the success of our college, the College of the Muskogee Nation, things they were able to achieve this year. In May, we had a graduation, and so we had a record number of people graduate from our college this year, and that number was 51 people. And so not only did we graduate 51 people, but our enrollment continues to climb. Now, the third quarter being the summer, it dropped a little bit, but even so, we were able to keep a student count of, I think, 132 over the summer trimester. We expect that number to increase. The college is adding, I think, 5 more dorm rooms so that we can house more students and continue to grow. As you know, we were accredited this year, so we have full accreditation with the college, and so that continues to climb. Okay. The graduation numbers of 51 that we had for the college during the spring trimester, the degree programs were the following. We had tribal services, we had 29 students graduate. Gaming, we had 9 students graduate. Native American Studies had 7 students who graduated, and Police Science had 6 graduates. So the degree programs continue to increase, and the graduation rate increases as well. And so we're pleased to report that. And we look forward to the fall trimester that'll start soon, and our numbers going back up to about 145 to 150 students, and interest continues to grow with our college. I want to also talk and give just some numbers about things that are important. One is the number of citizens reported by the Citizenship Board, and as at the end of March of 2017, our tribe consisted of 82,983 members. And I think we show continued growth there in our citizens of this nation. With the election board, we're in the midst of the primary session, I guess, of the election of half of the council members. And so as we speak now, the candidates are out campaigning. I want to report that the dates of the elections, The primary election will be held September 16, 2017, and if needed, the general election will be held on November 4th, 2017. So many of you may have already received information regarding your absentee ballot. The election board on their own Facebook page is also sending information out to our population and to our veterans, to our members about the election. So in addition to what I report, you may also go to the election board, Muskogee Creek Nation Election Board Facebook page and get further updates. And I think they're working also on where the forums will be held between now and September. At the present time, we have 16,656 registered voters. I know that the election board is trying to increase that numbers. They've had some what they call push efforts where they've gone to the college and they've been working with the youth and increasing that numbers. We've also sent out public service announcements to try to get more people registered to vote and make it easier for people to vote. So, we continue to strive to improve in all areas of the nation. So I know I've taken a few minutes this morning of your time, but I think it's important information that we share with you. Again, I just want to show you, the reports that we put out each quarter. They're public. We have all this information available for you to look at. We want you to look at that. If you have comments about that, please let us know. Any questions about it, we'd be glad to answer them. But as Principal Chief, I just wanted to take this opportunity today to share some of the highlights of the quarterly report with you and to let you know we continue to move forward. We continue to make some great progress in a number of areas, and we'll continue to do the work that you've asked us to do, you've elected us to do, and to move this nation forward and be one of the best nations, tribal nations in the United States. And as the fourth largest one in the country, I think we have a huge obligation, a large responsibility to you, and we want to do our best in providing care and services to you. So, Mado, for the opportunity this morning, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you.